Okay, so our goal is to graph this ellipse and then identify the coordinates of the foci. So the first thing that I would advise is to figure out where the center is. So let's recall that the form is, x minus h squared and then y minus k squared in the numerators. So the center is at h comma k, and so h is going to be 3, so the x value of the center will be 3. And then k will be negative 2, because y minus negative 2 is the same as y plus 2. So the center will be at 3, negative 2. So let's plot that first. All right, so now we want to figure out where the vertices and co-vertices are. So to figure out which value helps us figure out the vertices and which value helps us figure out the co-vertices, we look at which one's bigger. The bigger one is going to represent our a squared. So a squared will be 64, and then b squared will be equal to 49. The a value helps you figure out where the vertices are. The b values help you figure out where the co-vertices are. So if we solve for a, we would take the square root of 64, and we would get a is equal to 8. And then if we solve for b, we would get that b is the square root of 49, and that b is 7. Okay, so where do we go from here? So now this tells you again where the vertices are, and we would start at the center, and since this is a vertical ellipse, the vertices are going to be 8 units above and 8 units below the center, because the vertices are going to be on the major or the longer axis. So we go start at the center, we go 8 units up, plot our point, and we'll have one of the vertices at 3, 6, and then go back to the center and then go 8 units down from the center, and our other vertex will be at 3, negative 10. And let's write over here that, remember this is a bigger number, so this tells you that this is a vertical ellipse. Now, the b value will tell you how many units to the left and right from the center we're going to move. So we're going to move 7 units from the center. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right will put us at 10, negative 3. And that's one of our co-vertices. And our other co-vertice will be moving 7 units to the left from the center. So that'll put us at negative 4, negative 2. Looks like I put negative 3 here. That should be negative 2. Oops. So 10, negative 2 for that co-vertice. And this one over here will be at negative 4, negative 2. So we have our co-vertices, our vertices, and now to find our foci, we're going to need to figure out the values of c. So we want to figure out what c squared is, because we can relate all these values by this equation. A squared is equal to b squared plus c squared. So we can solve this equation for c squared, and then we can figure out what c is, and then we can figure out where the foci will be. So then a squared is 64, b squared is 49, so 64 is 49 plus c squared. Take away 49, c squared is 15, and then so c is the square root of 15, which would be about 3.87. Now, the foci will be on the major axis, So it's going to be on the vertical axis. And this C value tells you how many units up and down from the center your foci will be. So we can go 3.87 units about from the center. So going from this point, 3.87 would be about over here. So we can make, like, we can say that's one of our foci. F1 will be at about 3, 1.87, and then go back to the center, and we're going to go 3.87 units downward for our other foci. We'll call that F2. So that'll be about 3, negative 5.87. And so all it's up to do is now is to try to see if we can make this shape an ellipse. We'll try. It's very difficult. It's not too stretched out. It's close to a circle somewhat. So our ellipse is going to look something like that.